Hey guys, ColdBrew here. Welcome back to another Diablo Immortal video. Guys, we have a lot of changes to basically all of the gems, almost all of the gems that will be on launch for Diablo Immortal. So this video will be a long one. We have a detailed list of all of the gems as Aftershock United. We've detailed them and how good they are and what their usage will be in general for all classes. We didn't go specifically for each class, but I've listed all the changes which are mostly to the max skill amount of each gem to the right hand side of this worksheet. We'll go through each and every one of them, but also there seems to be some brand new gems added to Diablo Immortal. All this information has been taken from the Diablo fans website, where I am assuming that it's a data mine or just basically a draw of information from whichever source they get them. So take this information with a grain of salt, as when we have the launch, all of this information might be actually changed once again. So let's get started with the 1-star legendary gems. We have Berserker's Eye. This one is one of the greatest gems there is, as it increases all damage you deal but increases all damage you take. The max damage is actually increased to 16 from 15%. But the critical hit chance that you gain is reduced to 2%. So that's actually significant on the maximum rank, from 4% to 2%. That's like half of it. And it also increases all damage you take by 5% right here instead of 6. Then we go on to the Black Rose. Well, the Black Rose in general, it's an immobilization. It isn't super impactful, and also the cooldown has been increased to 20 seconds instead of the 12 seconds as before. But now it's a 24% chance to actually summon divines that incapacitate, that immobilize the attacker, and it's now 3.3 seconds instead of the 4.5 seconds that it was before. So quite a significant change. I still don't think that this will be used over other gems. Next one on the list is Carson's Invigoration. Basically an increase of your primary attack speed and the damage of your primary attack. This is decreased to 16%, and also the damage of your primary attack decreased to 2%. The difference is quite noticeable actually in terms of the maximum amount. So I still think that this will be something that many classes will be using, as the primary attack is something that you always need to have a good boost to, because, well, if your cooldowns are long, especially I'm looking at you Crusaders, you're gonna have you're gonna need some extra boost to the damage of your primary attack. Next one is Defiant Soul. So Defiant Soul is basically each time you block an attack, you deal 50% base damage. This has been increased on the max amount from 100% to 192%, which is quite significant. But the damage that is added to that has been reduced to 777, and then you also take 6% instead of a 1% decreased damage. I think this is gonna be a very solid one, a very solid gem for the Crusader now, especially with that very high decrease of the damage that you receive. Cannot occur more often than every 20 seconds though. So the 3 seconds to 20 seconds, it really depends on how your build goes and how you plan on using Defiant Soul. Next one on the list, we've got Everlasting Torment. The critical hits inflict agony, dealing 30% base damage now on the maximum amount. Always, guys, 122 every second for 6 seconds. Each nearby enemy inflicted with agony increases your attack speed by 6% instead of the 1% that we see there. Each enemy cannot be affected by this more than once every 20 seconds instead of the 6 seconds that it is before. So definitely some significant changes so far on the gems, but we're just looking at the 1-star gems at the moment. Next one is Lowe's Focused Gaze. It's basically a channeled skills kind of gem. Your charge skills charge at 24% instead of 45% on the maximum rank, and deal 2% increased damage, so half of that. So this gem basically got wrecked on the maximum amounts. Your channel skills consume 24% energy slower, and you take 2% decreased damage while using them. So this is basically like a big nerf to this specific gem. Next one is Mocking Laughter. Your primary attack causes enemies it hits to deal 8% decreased damage and forces non-elite monsters it hits to attack you for 6 seconds. Again, this is aimed as boosting the impact that it has in terms of controlling the enemies and also decreasing the damage that you receive. So I think it will be impactful at the beginning of the game, but later on you will be replacing it, of course. Then we got Nightmare Wreath getting a change. You have a 10% chance when you defeat this. It's just a wording change. An enemy to cause other nearby enemies to flee in fear for 2.4 seconds instead of the 3 seconds that it was before, like a minimal change. Fleeing enemies take 8% increased damage, also like double what it was before. Cannot occur more than once every 20 seconds. So the 20 seconds has remained the same. It's still a little bit of a longer cooldown. Next one, we've got Pain of Subjugation at a 16% increased damage instead of the 18%, and take 4% decreased damage while you're suffering a loss of control. Solid change, but I still think that it will be replaced quite often as well. Next one is Respite Stone. You take 1.6% decreased damage for every 10% of your life below maximum. So up to a maximum decrease of 16%. So quite a significant change. But again, you would have to be like 1% health to have the maximum decrease of 16%, which isn't that great. You also gain 6% increased block chance when your life drops below 50%. This is the only thing that is a little bit better in terms of the increased block chance. I still think it shouldn't have been nerfed that much. The 3% that it was before, I still think it was much better. Next one, we got Zod Stone. Okay, Zod Stone increases the duration of your ultimate skills by 48% and the damage of your ultimate skills by 6%. It's solid, but now it's actually got a nerf. Kind of missed the boat there, so definitely will be replaced in the future. The next one, we get the 2-star legendary gems. We're gonna go over these as well, and then by the end, guys, we will be looking at the new gems, or at least what it seems to be new gems that have not been in the beta. So Battle Guard is first with a decrease all melee damage you take by 24% from enemies within 3 yards of you instead of the 18%. And additionally, while your health is below 60%, you can move unhindered through enemies. So that's pretty cool, especially in very crowded situations. Then next up, we've got Bloody Reach. It now has become like almost a new skill with the changes. Your attacks deal 6% increased damage for every 2 yards between you and the enemy hit. Maximum increase of 24% at 8 yards. That is quite the change. In addition, your attacks have a 1.2% chance to slow enemy movement speed by 35% for 3 seconds now instead of the 2 seconds that it was before. But remember, all of these changes are the maximum in terms of when the gem is upgraded. Next up, we have Cutthroat's Grin with a increase in the critical hit chance that you receive and a 4% increased damage when attacking from behind instead of the 6%. Quite the change in the increased damage that you do when hitting an enemy from behind, but still a solid increase to the increased critical hit chance. I still don't think it's going to be so worth it in terms of the maneuvers you need to be taking when fighting, when you have to go behind an enemy to actually gain the benefit of this one. Then we got Fervent Fang with the change. Each time you damage an enemy, increases the damage it takes from your attacks by 2.4% up to a maximum of 24% at 10 stacks. Also increases all damage you deal to elite monsters by 6%. Quite significant is the change to the maximum amount. And then let's have a look at Lightning Core. This one is changed now to 20 seconds instead of the 15 seconds. So I don't think it's going to be worth it as much as before, but we do get a boost to the base damage that it deals to 280% of the base. Increase all damage you deal by 12% also, so that's a double increase. But it has been nerfed to the 20 seconds instead of the 15 seconds. So you have to have that in mind to compare its usefulness. I still think the increase in the all damage that you deal is quite significant to lose out on. Then we have Power and Command. Power and Command alternate states every 9 seconds. Power increases your primary attack damage by 24% now. Command increases all other skills damage by 24%. Remember, these are maximum values. So each time these states alternate, you have a 30% chance to dispel a harmful effect from yourself. So this is basically like a small buff to this one, and it should be a significant buff because this as we note here is used by pretty much all classes, especially I think for PvP purposes. Then we look at the Hunger. heal 140% base damage plus 567 life each time you defeat an enemy. So this has actually been changed from life to base damage. I still think this is like a boost to the value of these kind of gems when they change them from life to base. We still have a few more which have a similar change. Can occur more often than once every 20 seconds. Then let's have a look at Unity Crystal. Basically, there's a new change to this one. All party members within 6 yards of you take 1.5 decreased damage and deal 1.2% increased damage for each additional nearby party member. So when you bunch up all the party members, you will be getting a significant boost to the decreased damage that you receive as a team. Then let's have a look at the 5-star legendary gems. These are the ones that we really have to take note, because these are the ones that are for the end game. Once you reach that maximum level, these will be used more often than not. Let's have a look at Blessing of the Worthy. When you take damage, you have 20% chance to unleash retribution on all nearby enemies, dealing damage equal to 28% of your current life. So that's a nerf, decreasing all damage you take by 16% for 6 seconds. So that's a boost instead of the decreased damage that you receive. Can occur more than once every 20 seconds now. So this has been nerfed a little bit because of the increase in the how often this actually procs and reduces the damage that you do take. Next one is Bloodsoaked Gem, pretty much MVP of the gems in terms of when you get it, you have to use it. Increased damage you deal by up to 24% and your movement speed by 10%, with the less damage bonus, the lower your life to a minimum of 12%. Additionally, take 8% decreased damage while below 50% life. So that's actually a nerf. You don't receive less damage now, you receive more damage when you are 50% than it was before. So yeah, that's a nerf a little bit, but I still think this is going to be used by all classes. Then let's have a look at Chip of Stone Flesh. When you cause an enemy loss of control, you also inflict an explosive curse. When the curse expires, enemies will explode by 5% of all damage taken during its duration, up to a maximum of 450% of base damage. Cannot occur more than once every 20 seconds per target. Damage taken by victims of the explosive curse increased by 24%. I think this is like a great gem overall, but the longer cooldown actually doesn't make these gems to be used over others, because you want to be going in there fast, and you have your gems having like a lower cooldown to benefit the most out of them. Let's have a look at Echoing Shade next. Your attacks have a 15% chance to summon a shadow clone that lasts for 20 seconds and gains some of your attributes. That's pretty cool. You can now have 3 shadow clones instead of the 2 before, right, at one time, and their life is increased by 100%. So that's a pretty significant buff onto it. So I wonder if this is going to make it worthy way more than before. Actually, we just have to play the game and see them in action to really understand their real value. Next one is Frozen Heart, with a change to how it works. When you do take damage, activate an icy shield that absorbs 360% base damage plus a good amount lasting 6 seconds. So while you have that shield on, enemy attacks against you have a 30% chance to chill the attacker. That's a pretty good change, I would say, as long as you can keep that shield active. If you take a lot of damage, then that shield will expire, and I'm guessing you will not be able to chill the attackers any longer. With Howler's Call next, your primary attack has a 10% chance to summon a charging spirit wolf. This is significantly reduced than before. It was 30% chance, now it's 10. 1 out of 10 attacks is not that great, and the wolf will inflict 360% base damage plus some more, and then a 48% chance to stun enemies for 3 seconds instead of the 1.5 seconds. So the chance is increased to stun, so it's more of a control kind of alternative, but it does have a very small chance to proc, and a 20% now cooldown instead of the 10. So double the cooldown with double almost the chance to stun. It really is like a risky kind of gem. You have it when it does proc, it's going to be great, but it will have like a longer cooldown. Then let's have a look at Phoenix Ashes. Prevents fatal damage and then grants a shield for 6 seconds that absorbs damage equal to 1050% of your base damage instead of your life. When the shield expires, heal for 80% of the remaining value. It used to be 100%, so that's kind of a nerf. Cannot occur more often than 180 seconds than it was before 300 seconds. So I'm not sure if the max skill would also reduce the cooldown. So I am guessing that this is a from my understanding, this is a buff to this one. And then finally, we got Seeping Bile. Your attacks have a 4% chance to poison enemies, inflicting 65% base damage, plus 263 every second over 6 seconds, and decreasing movement speed by 24%. So it actually is more damage, but over 6 seconds, which is kind of lower than before. Before it was 3 seconds. The decrease in movement speed though is much more significant, and the poison spreads to nearby enemies if the victim dies. Is great. Cannot affect the same target more often than once every 20 seconds. So that is something that is added to this one. It might actually reduce the usefulness of this one because of that bigger cooldown, especially for targets that will not die right away, and the longer cooldown makes it less worthy on single targets. Then let's have a look at the possibly new gems. I'm not 100% sure in these ones if these are new gems, but that's how it was shown on the website. So let me move myself over to the other side. These are the possibly new gems that will be added to Diablo Immortal as listed on the Diablo fans website. So let's have a look at Follower's Burden. Increases all damage you deal by 3% for each summon you control, up to a maximum increase of 18%. I'm guessing this will be great for the Necromancer class. Additionally, your summons take 6% decreased damage. I think it will be like a necessity to use. Concentrated Will. When you use a rapid movement skill, you leave a soul marker behind, and after a short delay, you will return to your starting position, dealing 400 base damage plus 1,620 to all intervening enemies. That is actually pretty great in terms of, you know, the damage potential for classes that want to flee a certain area where targets are, and then they'll come back again and deal a big amount of burst. It cannot occur more than once every 20 seconds. That 0% chance to cause enemies you encounter to flee in fear. I'm pretty sure that's a typo, or this is subject to change by launch also. Bottle Hope. When you use a skill to grant a buff, increases the damage and movement speed of the target by 24% for 6 seconds. Cannot occur more often than once every 20 seconds per target. Skill cooldowns decreased by 6%. This is a lot in terms of, let's say, the Crusader. He will gain benefit from this one as he will be buffing his teammates, and cannot occur more often than once every 20 seconds per target. Skill cooldowns decreased by 6%. Seems like a good one, but again, I've got to see them at launch to really understand. Volatility Shard. Unreleased, each time you defeat an enemy, they will explode for 90% base damage plus 365 to all nearby enemies. I love this one. Can occur more often than once every 6 seconds though. Maybe this is not that great, but your damage dealt is increased by 8% for 2 seconds after each explosion. So this looks like for a longer fight where each enemy will be dying about every 6 seconds, and your damage will be getting a boost consistently. But I wonder if it stacks up. I don't think so. I think it's just a flat 8%, but it does say after each explosion, so it makes me think, does this have a maximum? We'll just know in the future, I guess. Hellfire Stone. When you use any skill, 6 fiery blazes will orbit around you. After a short delay, the flames will shoot out to strike enemies within 4 yards, each dealing 78% base damage plus 316. Cannot occur more often than once every 20 seconds. Damage done to targets struck by blazes increased by 18%. Again, this is more for the melee classes. I don't think the range classes will be using this one as they don't want to be really near targets, especially on the higher difficulties. Salted Earth. While in combat, you will leave a poison trail that continually deals 1% base damage plus 10 to enemies within it, and slows movement speed by 20%. Trail persists for 3 seconds. This is very solid in controlling enemies and actually also dealing a bit of damage. We've got Hearthstone. Hearthstone. Increase the duration of absorb shields by 48%. Effects which cause loss of control of your character have a 6% shorter duration while you have an absorb shield. This is pretty solid, but I'm always thinking about the Crusader when I look at these. And although this one is okay, because of the Crusader, he's got a pony to run around, and that actually removes The crowd control, this one doesn't look like a really good one. Blessed Pebble, increase the duration of beneficial effects on you by 12%. That's cool. Your movement speed is increased by 4% while you have any beneficial effect active. This is the go fast gem, basically, if you want to speed run through things. Puppeteer's Bauble. After defeating an elite enemy, force its spirit to fight by your side for 60 seconds. Cannot occur more than once every 60 seconds. Additionally, 10% of all damage you take is taken. This is the best one of these so far. Wow. This actually looks quite the gem. Assuming that the elites will have the same kind of attack values and defense values as they had when you attack them, they will be attacking, you know, this will be by your side, so they will be attacking your enemies as well and inflicting quite the damage. But I don't think it's gonna work that way. We'll just have to see when this is out. Again, Svensson's Seclusion. When you defeat an enemy, summon a dark beast to attack nearby enemies, dealing 120% base damage to 486 to all nearby enemies. Cannot occur more often than once every 6 seconds. You now have a 28% chance to summon an additional dark beast. Yeah, this is pretty good. The cooldown seems to be low, so you're actually gonna be summoning a lot of these ones with a 28% chance for each enemy that you defeat, right? So it's not you kill one, after 6 seconds you kill another one. It's basically you kill one, after 6 seconds it can proc again at 28% chance. Realistically, it will not proc, you know, a lot of times. It's gonna be 1 every 4, right? So you kill 5 enemies, you basically gonna have on average about 2 beasts running around doing a lot of damage. Then we have Leper's Balm. Your attacks have a 15% chance to slow enemy movement speed and attack speed by 35% for 8 seconds. Cannot occur more often than once every 20 seconds per target. Damage to slowed enemies increased by 10%. I think this is good, but the cooldown seems to be longer, so not that great. Although it does reduce the attack speed by 35% for 8 seconds, so you do gain a nice benefit at a 15% chance. Yeah, this is not that good, I think from the first look at this one. Cure Slaying, you have a 15% chance when you are attacked to release a burst of light that blinds all nearby enemies for 4 seconds. Cannot occur more often than once every 20 seconds. You deal 14% increased damage to blinded enemies. This is great, but very low chance plus very long cooldown. I kind of don't like it. I want more consistency out of the gems, I would say. Freedom and Devotion, increase the duration of your summons by 24% and the damage done by your summons by 3%. Oh man, Necromancer loves this. But I wonder when you have gems that actually do summons, if other gems that do affect the duration of summons also benefit from each other. I think they do. Well, this was the list, guys. I know this was a very long video. That's because basically every single gem has been changed in one way or another. Only a few remain unchanged, as you can see here on the right hand side of this worksheet that we have as Aftershock United. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.